Tonight on SportsDesk, Full Court Frontier. We'll take you live at the newest league taking over women's basketball.
Plus, Beating the Odds, the story of one lacrosse player who never lost sight of the field.
And finally, Captain of the Ship. Dylan Davis sits down with Lauren Graves of Canes Rowing.
All that and more
SportsDesk starts
right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former UM guy. You're watching SportsDesk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching SportsDesk.
Hello and welcome to Sports Desk. I'm Shay McDonald.
And I'm Annie Watson. Thank you for joining us. Shay, seasons are coming to an end, basketball being one of them, and there was a heck of an opponent coming to town this week.
Yeah, they didn't handle the opponent very well. I'll be very honest, Annie.
Miami Hurricanes faced off against their first-ranked opponent since December when Cooper Flagg and the Duke Blue Devils came to town earlier this week. Let's take it to the Watsco Center for the highlights. Number 2 ranked Duke coming to the Watsco Center to face off against these Canes. They're up 6-0. The Duke Blue Devils are in the early layup with 3 minutes into the game. Miami down 33-19. Lynn Kidd for the easy layup. Austin Swartz driving it to the elbow for the final seconds of the first half. Canes down by 30, but they are making it happen beyond the arc regardless. There's an early steal here by Brandon Johnson. They're down 83-47. He goes in for the assist for Jaleel Bethea, the star freshman, with the dunk. Lynn Kidd, the paint is all his. He goes up for the layup, and they are now down 91-56. Duke with the dagger 3, and in late second effort to score more points, they go in for the dunk. Miami loses to Duke 97-60, and Miami will face off against UNC tomorrow.
It's been a week of big games and big news for Miami basketball, and our Hurricane Hangtime crew is here to break down the latest on Canes hoops. Guys?
Hello everyone and welcome back to another segment of Hurricane Hangtime. I'm your host Riley McManus, joined by Gio Alonzo and Tucker Kinney. Starting off, the men's team is in their final stretch of their season, but there's been rumors about a potential new head coach. Gio, tell us more about that.
Well, yeah, Riley, as of right now, it's all just rumors, but those rumors are coming from sources that are very close to the situation, and they're saying that odds are Jay Lucas, current Duke associate head coach and defensive coordinator, may be accepting a contract to come coach Miami next season. Now, this is reason for a lot of optimism for Canes fans. Lucas is the leader of the Duke defense, which right now is ranked 8th in the nation. There's also reason for some caution with that optimism. See, the first part is Miami is coming off a season that may end up as their worst in the history of the program, and that could be problematic for Jay Lucas, who has never ran a program and has never been a head coach. And the second thing I'm concerned about is even though he is a very strong recruiter with names like Cooper Flagg and the Boozer twins, he's never had to recruit without that Duke or Kentucky logo on his chest, so we'll see how he adapts to perhaps coaching Miami next season.
Thank you, Gio. Tucker, the women's team has had varied results this week. Fill us in on the details of those games.
Yeah, Riley, well, it's been an up and down week for the Canes with a win against Wake Forest, but a loss against Stanford. Talking about the Wake Forest win, they won 62-60 thanks to a go-ahead 3 by Darion Rogers in the final 17 seconds of the game. However, against Stanford, while they were good offensively with the Cavendish twins scoring 35 points and the team shooting over 50% from 3, they couldn't handle the Stanford offense. Now, looking ahead at their final game of the season, they go away to Cal, who has a 15-1 record at home, while Miami has a dismal 2-7 record. So while I think they have a chance offensively if they can get enough points, I don't peg them as favorites whatsoever.
Thank you, Tucker. Well, that's all we have time for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. WNBA players are dominating the court this month in the Unrivaled League, and our reporter Regina Potenza is live at Wayfair Arena with more on these dedicated players. Regina?
Unrivaled is still in its first season, but it has already changed the landscape of women's basketball. The league was founded by 2 current WNBA players, Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, who decided that there was a gap in opportunities for women to train, compete, and earn money during the WNBA offseason. Their solution? a player-run league that prioritizes high-level competition while also allowing players to stay in the United States and train instead of having to go abroad. I spoke with several Unrivaled basketball players and broadcast crew about their experience during the league's inaugural season. When you first heard about the Unrivaled League as a concept, this 3-on-3 with an Elam ending, what did you think that the league would become, and did you ever imagine it would grow to almost 200,000 viewers per game?
I love the fact that these women get a chance to play here in our country, and that the fans, women's basketball and women's sports in general is just on the rise in a way that it has never been before. They're so deserving of all of the sponsorships that they're getting, of all of the pay that they get. When you talk about like first class and doing it right, I think Unrivaled has really stepped up to the plate.
It's also progress, like vets who have paved the league so much, they're able to stay here and recover their bodies so that they may actually able to play 5 years more than previously, just because they are given more resources to rest. So I think this is amazing. Unrivaled is doing an amazing thing.
And while Unrivaled takes place during the WNBA offseason, players and fans bring the same level of passion and intensity to its games as they do in the W.
Everyone's bought into it. It's competitive. They're playing full speed, full contact. We're coming down to the wire here, so you can feel the intensity. And at the end of the day, they're all competitors and they want to win. There are 6 teams in the Unrivaled League, but only 4 will make the playoffs. Last weekend, the Lunar Owls clinched the first playoff spot, leaving the remaining 5 teams to compete for the last 3 spots in the first ever Unrivaled playoffs. Tonight, the Laces will play the Vinyls, followed by the Mist playing the Phantom. The teams playing tonight are ranked 3rd through 6th, meaning that tonight's games guaranteed to change the outcome of the projected playoff brackets. Live from Wayfair Arena, Regina Potenza, UMTV.
Thanks, Regina. Coming up on Sports Desk, our Inside Pitch crew is live in studio to see if Miami can turn Gainesville to Canesville. Stay with us.
That piece of paper, some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on
paper. I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Canes baseball is currently in Gainesville playing their first game of the rivalry series against the University of Florida. Our Inside Pitch crew is live in studio to see how Miami can take them down. Guys.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to Inside Pitch. I'm your host, Ashley Friedland, joined by analyst Jake Baum. And Miami swept a 4-game series last weekend against Princeton. What are the biggest takeaways from those games, Jake?
Ashley, complete and utter dominance has been the name of the game for the Hurricanes this season. Just look at plus 70 run differential in their first 9 games. That's a great score for the entire season, let alone 9 games. And I'm going to start running out of broom puns because after only 2 weekend series, they've gotten 2 sweeps. And it's been in large part due to Jake Ogden, leading the team in so many statistical categories: 444 average, 2 home runs, 16 hits, and getting on base every other plate appearance. Big reason as to the success of this team so far.
Miami's numbers are looking really strong, and they're headed up into rivaled history tomorrow. They're playing UF. And what are the biggest things Miami needs to do to make sure they can win this series?
Well, the Florida rivalry has not been kind to the Hurricanes in the last 2 years. 1 in 5 are the Canes in those matchups, but the excitement in the dugout is still palpable.
This is the reason you come to a big program like Miami, to get to play some rivalry games. I mean, it's just like any other game where you go out there and you have that kind of confidence in your defense that you just go do what you're good at, and that usually works out when you have a good defense behind you like we do.
You know, it's going to be fun. The crowd's going to be It's going to be a big crowd, but we just got to control what we can control, really.
They're going to have a ton of people there. I think upwards of like 12,000, which is awesome. You know, we get a good crowd here too at Mark Light. You know, but it really is just another at bat. It's just another game. And you know, if they throw a pitch over the plate, it's going to get hammered.
Seems like the team is in good spirits headed up to Gainesville, but now it's time for Bomb's Bets. Jake, what does the pitching matchup look like this series?
Well, on Friday, you got two 6'5" sophomores who can shove, and unfortunately for the Canes, I don't think Nick Robert is going to be as successful as he's been in the past. 2-0. I think it's going to become 2-1, and he's going to succeed to Liam Peterson. But going forward on Saturday, this is where it can be advantage Hurricanes. Griffin Ugis pitching with faith, fire, and fervor this season at that, and I say he takes the Saturday matchup against Pierce Coppola, and on to Sunday. It's 1-1. Who's going to take the series? I say this is where Brian Walters takes the cake. 2-0 this season and 6 no-hit innings last Sunday against Princeton, continuing the momentum. I say the Canes take 2 out of 3 versus the Gators.
The momentum is definitely helping Miami, and they are playing right now, but that is all the time we have for you today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ashley and Jake. It's that time for the segment known for its rhymes, and with our hosts, they're always sublime. With the best of Canes social media today, make sure you stay as he takes it away. Johnny?
I want to address something real quick. No, guys, I'm not going to be rhyming on this season. Oh, but Johnny, it's so fun when the host rhymes. What am I, T-Pain? So no, there's not going to be any rhyming. Listen, folks, I'm Johnny Mushin, and I'm your host, and I don't want to boast, so I'm going to take all of you behind the post. Ah, shoot, I just rhymed. Folks, the fact that March is tomorrow is making me absolutely sick to my stomach. Seriously, where did all the time go? Which is exactly what Mitch Friedman, the Mark Light Shake master, is saying after his 40th season working for the Canes. He threw out the first pitch this week, celebrating 4 decades of Canes fans getting the absolute best milkshakes in the business. This brings a tear to my eye. But while Friedman is still at the Light, it's not the same thing I could say about the Cavendish sisters. Along with Jazz Roberts, the women's seniors celebrated their careers at the Watsco Center on senior night before tackling Wake Forest. And let me tell you, I think the NCAA has a real problem when it comes to Cam Williams. Check out her post moves against the Demon Deacons. And while some Lady Canes are leaving, some are coming back. Christine Williamson of SportsCenter decided to take a trip back to the Knight Sports Complex and also a trip back to Studio B, right here. Okay, folks, we got to wrap this up or I'm going to start fangirling. So that's going to do it for me here. And for the final time, no, there will not be any rhyming. There's not going to be any time for me to rhyme. Okay, maybe there will be, but one thing is for sure. If you see my face on your TV, just know you're going to get the best from Canes social media. I'm Johnny Mushin, and I just took all of you behind the post. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Johnny. Every spring, players eligible for the NFL Draft show off their speed and talents at the Combine and Lucas Oil Stadium. Our reporter Jaden Cohey is live in studio to tell us how some Canes might fare this weekend. Jaden, how are the Canes looking in Indy?
Well, Shay, the Miami Hurricanes have 10 players up in Indianapolis at the NFL Combine, running drills, meeting with teams, and showing off their skills. A headliner of this Combine season is quarterback Cam Ward, who has decided to not participate in throwing drills at the Combine. And we will let the tape speak for itself, as it says a lot about his ability to win in the pocket and his elite arm talent. Cam Ward's partner in crime is wide receiver Xavier Restrepo, who is also at the Combine. Restrepo has the ability lead with his strong hands and can make some acrobatic catches in the air. He also has the ability to run routes with his impressive spatial awareness, despite his size. Someone who may have come as a surprise is defensive end Tyler Barron. He was a monster in the early season, but he struggled in conference play. He fits the bill physically for an NFL recruit, but a standout performance during drills and athletic tests will be key for him this weekend. During drills Thursday, Barron ran a 4.62 40-yard dash in his second attempt with a 1.61 10-yard split. This run time will put him in the top 5 for defensive ends. Barron's vertical jump was measured at 35.50 inches and a broad jump at 10 foot 1 inch, tying him for 7th. With 2 days left in the NFL Combine, there are still several opportunities for these players to show off their skills. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Jaden. For most high school athletes, making the varsity team is the dream. And for one Miami native, he was able to get there his freshman year. But one day, it was all taken away. Reporter Manny Nakarada has the story.
Like many young athletes who start to play a sport because of an older sibling, Miami native Luke Funcia followed his older brother's passion for lacrosse.
So my brother played when he was probably in like 3rd grade, around there, and then anything my brother was doing, I was doing.
Luke excelled at playing lacrosse for several years until one fateful practice in his freshman year of high school.
One practice, we were playing, my right arm felt a little weird, and I went down to untie my cleats, and everything went black.
Luke had suffered from a seizure. Emergency room doctors diagnosed him with neurocystic sarcosis, which is a parasitic infection of the nervous system. Luke had to undergo 2 brain surgeries.
The first one would be to open up my brain, put mapping on my actual brain that checked what activity was going on there, whether it was seizures, whether it wasn't. The second surgery came, about 7 days later, and they would resect whatever it was that they thought it was there.
But after the surgeries to treat the brain infection, Luke was told his initial diagnosis was not correct.
A couple weeks later, maybe a week later, we got the pathology report and it was said to be a brain tumor.
Doctors were able to partially remove Luke's tumor, but that left him with epilepsy and daily seizures.
So they put me on a medication. That was rough. Honestly, maybe the roughest part of the whole epilepsy experience. And I would still have what are called focal seizures, which is, I'm not shaking like most people think what a seizure is, but I almost zone out and I can't think correctly.
And although he could no longer play lacrosse, Luke did not give up on his passion.
He was always there. He was always texting us, always calling us, always staying involved. He's Luke. He's just always there. And he always with a smile, no matter what he's going through.
But Luke was not ready to give up on his beloved sport.
So we knew his brain had healed from the trauma and the scar. And so we kind of left it up to him. We told him whatever he decided that we would fully support.
And so 3 years after that fateful practice in freshman year, Luke is back playing lacrosse.
I'm fired up every day to be out there. I feel more grateful to be out there than ever. You know, sometimes it's it's a Friday, you had 2 games in during the earlier week, and everyone's tired, everyone wants to go home, but I don't know, I just feel more grateful to be there. I want to at least have a winning record, but I want to get a few big wins. I think that'll be fun. And next after that is college. See where that takes me.
For UMTV, I'm Manny Nakarada.
Thanks, Manny. Up next on SportsDesk, our reporter Max Keller brings us the story of one local soccer organization making a difference one field at a time. Find out more after the break. But first, it's time for some trivia. When was the last time the Miami Hurricanes team won a series against the Florida Gators in Gainesville? Is it A, 2017, B, 2019, C, 2021, or D, 2023? The answer when we return.
Perfect, guys. So it's a Friday night. What are we doing after the show?
I have a friend coming in from New Orleans to avoid Mardi Gras, so I'm hanging out with her tonight.
That's smart.
I have Chick-fil-A waiting right outside the studio that I'm going to go and eat right after the show.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Welcome back. If you guessed C, you're right. The last time the Canes won in Gainesville was in 2021, but winning the last 2 games of the series. With seasons beginning and ending, Kane's Olympic sports are receiving honors everywhere, and our O Sports Roundup crew is here to break it all down. Guys?
Welcome back to another edition of the O Sports Roundup. I'm Ariel Lopez.
And I'm MK Eason. Ariel, the Canes keep striving forward academically, earning many different recognitions. What have they earned this week?
Well, MK, this week student athletes were awarded $9,000 scholarships toward their graduate education. These student athletes have excelled both in the classroom and in their respective sports, making them absolute superstars. Speaking of superstars, MK, there's a former UM superstar that's been recently honored. Who is it?
Yeah, Ariel, the University of Miami's track and field legend, Jillian Russell Love, was named to the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association Collegiate Hall of Fame Class 2025. Russell Love was a star to Miami, earning 9 NCAA All-American honors in her career. She was also a member of Jamaica's 1992 Barcelona and 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games. With the rowing team season soon, what are we anticipating for their season, Ariel?
The rowing team starts their season March 28th with Alia Dawson is expected to lead the way for Miami. Dawson was a 2024 All-ACC first-team honoree and a member of the preseason ACC rowing watch list. The Canes will compete in 5 regular season events throughout the spring.
What a well-deserved honor. Swim and dive team wrapped up their season at the 2025 ACC Championships at the Greensboro Aquatic Center, and senior Max Flory was named Most Valuable Men's Diver of the meet.
And that concludes this week's edition of the O Sports Roundup. We'll be back next week with some more Canes highlights.
Thanks, guys. One South Miami organization is helping elementary and middle school kids learn life lessons through soccer. Reporter Max Keller has the story.
Soccer is the most popular sport on the planet, but it's the small moments of the game that teach us life lessons. FCC stands for Football con Corazon, translating to Soccer with Heart. It's a South Florida organization that uses the sport to prevent and solve the world's problems. The coaches at FCC are focused on helping kids improve their skills on the pitch while teaching them emotional and social skills.
So always respect. It doesn't matter if it's inside the field or outside the field. I always tell them to show respect to the teachers, to each other, and most importantly to their coaches.
The 2-hour practices involve stretching as a team, individual drills, and a scrimmage at the end. During that time, the elementary and middle school students get to stay active while focusing on the game at hand.
It's like a space where your mind goes free. Your mind is just concentrated on one thing. You forget about everything else, and talking from experience, it's definitely been one of my safe spaces to be able to go to forget about anything that's happening at home or in school or with friends.
The coaches at FCC emphasize teamwork before anything else, teaching kids how to play selflessly and make the extra pass. And the message is clear. Friends take care of friends.
And the way I feel about everyone is great because they are friends of mine, and I like to care for everyone. And even if they fall or get injured really badly or they need water, I will care for them.
And after a fun day of practice, the scoreboard shouldn't count points, but instead smiles. Max Keller, UMTV.
Thanks, Max. Taking it from the pitch to the water, Dylan Davis sat down with one Canes rower who's shown off all of her skills in her 3 years at the U. Dylan?
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. I'm your host, Dylan Davis, and today, from Canes Rowing, I'm joined with Lauren Graves. Lauren, how are you today?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm happy to be here.
So, how did your rowing career start?
I'm originally from Newport Beach, California, so a lot of water around there. I saw it and I decided I wanted to pick it up. So I started on the women's rowing team, and then that was my freshman year of high school. Junior year, I decided I want to change it up, so I switched to being a coxswain for our men's team. A coxswain is the person who sits in the stern of the boat, and they control the steering of the boat. So I have a rudder, and I can control the fin beneath me with the 2 strings on my side. I also have a microphone where the 8 rowers on my boat can hear me and listen to what I'm saying. I set 3 of them and they just listen to me, so I really enjoy it.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're like the leader?
Yes.
Okay, and so this year you're also the captain. So can you talk about that transition from being a coxswain to a captain and how that's been?
It's been a pretty smooth transition. I'm very thankful for my 3 other captains that work beside me. I think we're operating pretty smoothly, and we're really focusing on the main goal of just building Miami up as a program. The captains before us did a great job creating that team culture. We're applying that, and we also just want to keep putting Miami out there. We want to be up on the charts. I think the team is working really hard towards that, and we're just going to keep up on this track.
Wow, that's amazing. I really wish you the best in the rest of your season.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
And that's all for this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dylan. Still ahead on Sports Desk, Penelope Gilbert takes us to a local rec center that offers an inclusive dance program. This and more after a short break.
This is if kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go. Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Dancing is known to have benefits for people of all ages, but for one man, dancing has changed his entire outlook on life. Penelope Gilbert has the story.
This is 38-year-old Ramon Montero. And dancing is one of his many passions.
I love the dance. I like the way I dance.
Montero suffers from Down syndrome, but he's never let that stop him from showing off on the dance floor.
So he's the social butterfly of everybody. He's like a bright spot in the program for sure.
Montero found his love for dance all thanks to one program here at Doral Legacy Park. The Feel the Beat program offers dance classes and even performance opportunities for both kids and adults with special needs.
This program can bring social skills, memory skills, and the ability to see, through the mirror and follow directions. We have research where the music, the rhythm, the beat can help them to follow simple directions.
Ubeto has been working with disabled children for 25 years, and for her, it's become a fulfilling passion.
To be with this population is a blessing. To dance with them and to see how they perform is why we are here. We are here to work with them and for them.
And her love for her students goes both ways.
My teacher is the best teacher I have.
Penelope Gilbert, UMTV.
Thanks, Penelope. Steph Curry is one of the few players ever to make half-court shots seem effortless, and last night was no different. Let's head to the Kia Center in Orlando to see how he made some magic. Warriors taking on the Magic in Orlando. It's Curry from way downtown, and the words from Mike Breen, bang, to end the first half. Warriors down 14. Now Curry's going to catch this pass from Jimmy Butler right here, get KCP jumping. He's going to shoot it, and 1, 2, 3. Shooter's roll goes in for Curry. He's going to come around the screen, catch another pass from Butler, and it's another good shot from Curry from downtown. Now he's putting KCP in the torture chamber right here. Another 3, and for the dagger, Curry going to get Paolo Banchero to jump, and it's good. 56 points, 12 threes, and that's your play of the day.
It's been less than a year since the Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers in Game 7 to win the franchise's first ever Stanley Cup. So when the Oilers traveled down to Sunrise, Florida last night, the wound still felt a little fresh. Taking it on over to Amerant Bank Arena, just off of I-75, and the Panthers facing off the Edmonton Oilers for the first time in Florida since the Stanley Cup, off to a 2-1 lead, 2.5 minutes left in the second period, and the Edmonton Oilers tie it up. That is Leon Draisaitl there for the game-tying goal. So up 3-2, 6:10 left in the third period, and the Panthers end up beating the team that they beat to get the Stanley Cup back in June.
Must have been a fun game. I know some SportsDesk people were at it, but I will say the Jersey Devils beat both those teams, people. Both of them. What a phenomenal team. Those there are also great teams. Yeah.
Start of a new rivalry, I might say. Mm-hmm. That's all the time we have for you on SportsDesk today. Make sure to tune in next week, same time, same place.
Have a good night.